All right, hello, Bucs fans. How we doing tonight? I'm ready for a good show. Ready to talk to you guys about Buccaneer football. One more week closer to the draft, 10 days away, closer to the season. I am excited. Guys, I am really seriously, I cannot wait for this offseason to progress. I'm ready to get into the meat of things, and we're just starting to get there right at the beginning of it. I'm excited about that. How are you guys doing tonight? I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling good. I've spent a good amount of time today digging into the draft for my first time. Many of you know I am not a draft guru, putting it mildly. That is not my deal. It is not my strength. I rely on people like Joshua Cole-Allen and others who are, let's just say, smarter than me when it comes to all of this. Joshua's out there rubbing shoulders with and talking to a lot of the guys who are going to get drafted. Joshua has all kinds of great information, and I'm not that guy. So what has ended up happening is I am sort of, for lack of a better way to put it, I'm learning now. Now is when I begin my crash course on the draft. Okay, some of you may be in front of me and know a lot more details. Or, I can't sit here and talk to you about this linebacker from, I don't know, East Idaho Tech. That's not what I'm necessarily. That's not my strength. But I begin diving in right about now and doing a crash course and learning and catching up on all of it, because I'm not a college guy. I'm a pro guy. So there's so much to talk to regarding the draft. As I'm now getting into it, it's getting me warmed up. It's getting the juices flowing. I'm getting excited. This is going to be an interesting draft, and we're going to get into that. And I want you guys to hang around, because there's going to be a segment called It's Your Turn, when you guys can call in and talk. And I want to hear from you. I do want to hear from all of you. And in the meantime, in the chat room, get yapping, guys. You are the Parrot Army. I want pandemonium. A group of parrots, an army of parrots, is called a pandemonium, and that's what I want to see in the chat room. Everybody start talking. So let's do that. To Tom Banner, who said, "Where's the Greek?" This is not his night, my friend. His show is on Wednesday night. Maybe he'll stop by. Who knows? Whether he has time or not. That's a busy man right there. But we have so much to talk about. And one of the first things I want to begin to talk about is Bruce Arians had this golf tournament, this golf outing for charity. And what became kind of a big deal about this, Joshua Cole-Allen from Bucs Report got all kinds of interesting little nuggets about, regarding Tom Brady's knee, regarding just all kinds of great info that I think it's what we've been waiting for. Everything's been so quiet. There's been so much radio silence, and we haven't had much going on, that it's hard during times like this, when we're sitting there waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting, and we want it to happen. We want to hear stuff. We want to know what's going on, but there's just quiet. And I'd almost, to be honest with you, it's almost like I forgot about Brady's knee at all, because there's been no mention of it, no whispering about it, no talking about it, no anything. I mean, it might as well have not even ever happened, the surgery that he had. So yeah, I want to talk about that. I want to get into that a little bit. The fact that at his golf outing, Tom Brady said that his knee's recovering well and that he's going to be good to go. He said he probably couldn't go today, but that he's pretty much ready to go. And that's good news, because he didn't seem the least bit concerned. He talked about, and we'll even talk about this again a little bit later, he talked about having a lot of pride, the whole team having pride in the fact that they're working out and getting ready now. He talked about how he'd probably be out there at Berkeley Prep with the guys now, getting ready, but that he physically isn't quite there yet, but that he will be, and he didn't seem the least bit concerned. And all of that was good news. So that's all good news that came out of Bruce Arians golf outing, and I'm excited about that. I want to bring in a special guest here who came out today with his first mock draft of the year, and we can talk about that. And we'll talk about a couple of his choices that he had there and what he sees as maybe some other options or things that might go down. Let's bring Jacob Charnow in. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, man? I got a new mic, got a new setup. I'm ready to go. This is my first time premiering the new mic on Bucs Report, so I'm very, very excited.
Very nice. Very nice. It's a nice looking mic.
Thank you. Rode mic something or other.
Okay. Very cool.
I don't know.
Well, it looks good. So good deal. All right. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, things are finally starting to heat up. It's been I think the dog days of the off season are coming to an end, and there's finally stuff happening. There's finally, things starting to stir up. I'm excited about the draft party that Bucs Report has coming up. There's so much coming, and you came out with your first mock draft today. Talk to me first of all just about your number one pick overall, Trevor Lawrence. Talk to me about your thoughts about it. I know there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks at the top of the draft. Today, I heard a lot about Trevor Lawrence being this once in a generation talent. He's the best since Andrew Luck. I've heard blah, 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 which I feel like I hear every year. I thought I heard it last year with Joe Burrow. But talk to me about Trevor Lawrence and what you actually think, how you see Trevor Lawrence panning out.
Okay, so yeah, Trevor Lawrence, the obvious number one pick, right? He's going to the Jaguars. Jaguars fans are buying stuff for Trevor Lawrence on his registry. He knows where he's going. Urban Meyer wouldn't be the coach in Jacksonville if it wasn't for Trevor Lawrence. Now, what do I think how I think his career is going to pan out? Well, I think the word generational is a bit overused nowadays with talent, Rick. I definitely agree with you there. But Trevor Lawrence is definitely something that we haven't seen in a while. We've known that he was going to be right last year. We didn't really know who was going to be the number one pick until late into the college football season. Even 2 years ago, we really didn't know who was going to be the number one pick. And then the Baker Mayfield Sam Darnold thing, you remember that? In
right.
We didn't know who the 2020 first overall pick was, but we know who the 2021
right
to be, and we knew it was going to be Trevor Lawrence. But it's going to be a matter of, can Urban Meyer be a successful head coach at the NFL level? We haven't seen him coach an NFL team before. We know that Nick Saban struggled at the NFL level, but he was a fantastic college coach. Urban Meyer, I think, could face a similar situation where he was a fantastic college coach, but he might not be able to handle the NFL because it's definitely a different monster because it's less recruiting.
Right.
It's going to be a matter of who they surround Trevor Lawrence with, right? Because his offensive line certainly wasn't good last year. This defense is trying to become a shell of what it was back in 2018 when they made it on that AFC Championship run. And, Trevor definitely has – it's hard to say right now based on film and everything if Trevor has what it takes to overcome all the woes in Jacksonville, but he's definitely an extremely talented player. And even with the other four names that could be taken, the four other quarterbacks, I think the pressure is all on him at number one.
Well, I'm hearing this morning all over the NFL Network. All they kept saying is, Jacksonville's back. Jacksonville's back. Watch it. This team could be fighting for the division, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, how many people are they drafting first? Because to me, it feels like it's going to take a huge seed change there. Not just one guy. Am I wrong about that? I mean, it just feels like maybe there's a little too much excitement.
Rick, you're definitely right. I don't think Jacksonville wins more than 3 games next year. I'm going to be honest. I really don't think I think they win somewhere between 3 and 5. I think that's a fair spot for them to be. Their offseason acquisitions were nothing notable, right? They added Marvin Jones. And they're hoping for him to be that wide receiver one, along with who's a very versatile player. He's very, very solid. They lose Keelan Cole. He obviously comes to the Jets. And then, they have DJ Chark and all them, but all those guys are really injured. But it's that offensive line. We saw it last year with Joe Burrow, guys. Don't be surprised if Trevor Lawrence has, and I'm going to say it, a David Carr-like rookie season if they don't come out and fix up this offensive line, because he's going to get hit hard by these AFC South defensive lines.
You see, this is kind of my feeling, and the overexcitement, I think this comes from time to time. Like last year, I swear I heard the whole thing about Joe Burrow is going to transform the Cincinnati Bengals. Watch and see what happens. Joe Burrow is That's a special kid. All the little things that they say like that. And it's this. Every year it feels like we rehash this about guys. I know your favorite team is the Jets. That's that's your guys, and they're picking number 2. And we'll talk a little bit about you. You said Zach Wilson, correct? Talk about that because I am more confident. Well, you go, and then I'll tell you my thoughts.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I have Zach Wilson going number 2 to the Jets, and it's not because, and I do think this, but it's not because I think Zach Wilson is the second best quarterback in this draft. I think it's because Robert Saleh is looking at Zach Wilson's play, and the fact that Justin Fields and Trey Lance. And this is very important, that the Niners are sitting at 3. And Michael LaFleur comes over. He's the offensive coordinator for the Jets. It's the Niner system. That Niner offense is going to be implied within this new Jets offense. The fact that Justin Fields and Trey Lance both had to run a Kyle Shanahan-like offense at their pro day to show that they can also do that. And Zach Wilson, it was an immaculate passer off play action in college. And this offense is going to be run first. I think Wilson fits the scheme, and he fits the scheme better than Justin Fields and Trey Lance both.
Okay.
For them, and Sam Darnold's obviously going, so Zach Wilson's
right. So how many pro days have there been on the NFL Network?
Too many.
Okay, so I've only seen 3 of them. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I've only sat down and watched beginning to end 3 pro days. But I will tell you that Zach Wilson, to me, looks like a different kind of a beast. I think he looks better than any of the other quarterbacks. Now, this is not saying he's got the best arm talent or the best, I'm saying all around accuracy, etc. I think he has, have you ever, when you see the it factor from somebody, I do think you get that from both of the alleged 2 top picks. Your 2 top 2. I think they both have that it factor. Now, talk about number 3.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Number 3, I had the 49ers taking Justin Fields. And I'm tired. I've been very vocal about this, Rick. I'm tired of seeing this Mac Jones at 3 thing. Because sure, it could happen. Mac Jones, in my opinion, is the sixth best quarterback in this
draft. Right.
Because outside of, I think Kellen Mond is better.
Right.
Put Kellen Mond at 5.
Right.
Mac Jones, and this is not me hating on Mac Jones. I just think that all the other quarterbacks in this draft are so much more talented. They're all so they're not to say once in a generation, but the amount of talent in this draft class at the quarterback position is unheard of for the last however long, right? We've seen one or two quarterbacks that really have that it factor. It feels like all of these quarterbacks can be franchise guys except for Mac Jones, right?
Right.
Then that the Tom Brady thing works and the pocket passer and all that. Guys, Mac Jones his arm talent isn't at Tom Brady's level, obviously. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Drew Brees.
I heard it again today from I think it was Charlie Casserly or somebody made the comment that hey, here's it was Joe Namath said, Mac Jones, he looks like a young Tom Brady. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he looks like him. He doesn't.
Well, no, he's just he's a slow white guy that stays in the pocket. Okay, that's that. Beyond that, you can't draw a comparison, and that's where I guess I get a little confused by all that.
Yeah, I think the hype on Mac Jones is a lot, right? I think Mac Jones is overhyped by scouts. And then,
is it by the scouts or is it just media? I mean, do you really think in the NFL, in the war rooms, they're going, "Wow, Mac Jones," or do you think that's media?
And you know what? I think it is a lot of media, but Mac Jones' success in the NFL is not going to be based on his talent. It's going to be based on where he lands, like every single other quarterback in this draft.
Right.
Sitting at 3, I think Justin Fields is the most ready to take over. I think that's what the Niners are honestly looking for. Now, sit him a year behind a veteran like Jimmy Garoppolo, who, yes, now is a veteran. It feels like he's been in the league for however long. He had time behind Tom Brady. He can definitely teach a young quarterback how to play. And you get Jimmy Garoppolo for another year. You get Justin Fields the year after, who's ready to
Did you watch Justin Fields' second pro day?
I did.
Okay, they were talking like, wow, this may be the most, the biggest pro day for anybody ever. This may have changed, been the most transformational pro day for anybody ever. And I'm going to tell you something to my untrained eye.
Yeah.
He did not look that accurate to me. And he looked like, mark my words, like a Dante Culpepper or whatever. He's going to struggle with his weight.
And Rick, I'll tell you this, and this is a question I have for you because think about this. Would you say Jimmy Garoppolo is a very accurate passer in the NFL?
Yes, accurate.
Accurate. Do you think? Because I think that this offense is so quarterback friendly that just
okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Shanahan gets to develop him where he's running the ball however many times a game that he doesn't really need to throw all that often. But then on top of that, now you get the aspect of Justin Fields can use his legs more than Garoppolo can, and that's a whole new aspect of your offense that you can work in. So, but I think if the Niners don't take Mac Jones, I'll say this right now: if the Niners don't take Justin Fields, and they take Mac Jones, it will be the biggest mistake in their franchise history because John Lynch is a very, very smart guy. We know he's a very, very solid.
They're not taking. I don't think they ever really considered Mac Jones.
Trade first-round picks and your whole future for Mac Jones. You probably could have gotten at 12 based on how they.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think they were ever thinking Mac Jones.
And even if you wanted Mac Jones, you
trade down.
The Eagles are clearly looking to trade out of 6. So now they could have just traded with them. There was no reason to trade up to 3 unless there was a guy they didn't think they could get at 6 or 12.
Right.
I could think of Justin Fields.
Right. Now let's slide on down the draft board. By the way, let me ask you this one question, which was brought up in by the pandemonium here, by the parrot army over here yapping. Quick question: how's this going to impact? How's Zach Wilson going to impact the Jets' win-loss record?
Oh, Rick, this is something that I'm very loud about, guys. The Jets are going to finish over 500 next year, and it's because of it's not going to be Zach Wilson. It's going to be the transformation of this defense heading into next year. It's not going to be this offense that does it. It's going to be this defense. We've seen defense win games time and time again, and the offense will fill it in just like that Niners team a few years ago.
It'll get there, but I think you're a year ahead of time. But I appreciate the enthusiasm.
I might be a year ahead of time.
Yeah.
Looking at this team next year with the guys they brought in and the coach and all that, I think it's certainly possible.
Yeah, that's where it takes. Like it took Arians a year. It takes a year, and that's why I say that. But I like I said, I appreciate the enthusiasm. I really do. And I don't think it's unfounded. I think the Jets are going to get better quickly. I don't understand the excitement about the Jaguars. Now let's slide down the draft board all the way to the bottom. Let's talk number 32.
Let's talk 32, Rick.
Okay. Talk to me about your pick there and what you thought and why you think it.
Okay, so I have them going linebacker, and I have them taking linebacker Hakeem Davis. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I think it's Hakeem Davis out of Kentucky. He's a guy who shot up draft boards quickly. He was thought to be a first-round talent. Then something happened. He wasn't, and then he shot right back up, and he probably put himself back in the first round. I think other than Micah Parsons, whatever it is, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he's the third best linebacker in this draft. He's young. He can cover. He can stop the run, and he's exactly what you could use behind a Levante David for whenever Levante David is done, or in certain schemes he could play. You could put him on the edge. He could get to the passer. He's just a perfect fit for this team, and I don't. Like I said, it's best player available. That's been the narrative of this draft all offseason. It's been the best player available. I think Hakeem Davis is certainly a great option. You could go younger at edge rusher. You could go corner. But I think Hakeem Davis is certainly a great pick for you guys there.
Yeah, well, major props for actually having 32 players and a thought process behind each pick and everything. Major props to you for that. To be honest with you, I'm not. If I ever came out with something like that, everybody should ignore it because I've said many times, like you are the wonder kid. You are you bring a different level of football knowledge onto Bucs Report and that I like. It's coming from a different perspective and I love it. And you call and the hard count. We'll talk about your where they find you, where they listen to you, and let the Parrot Army know where they can find you.
Yeah, so check me out, the Hard Count Football Podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud, and then the Hard Count Football Podcast Live which is Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern every single week right here on Bucs Report and on the Hardcore Football YouTube channel. This week, hey guys, it's a lot of draft stuff for the next week or two because next Thursday is the draft, guys. April 29th. I'm really
10 days.
To it. 10 days. And this is going to be a draft. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a draft that we've never seen before. There's going to be moves on draft night, the big moves. You could see some star players even getting traded in order for guys to move up, to move down. Whatever it's going to be, we're going to see a lot of movement, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So check me out there. Follow me on Twitter at Jacob Charno, Instagram at HardCountFootball, and come tell me I'm wrong. DM me, because Rick, I know you get them.
Yeah.
I love it. I love arguing with you guys.
And I got one question. What is the tagline for Hard Count Football?
It's the next generation of football fans, guys.
Absolutely. You bring that knowledge, and I love that. And I really appreciate your time, and I don't want to keep you. Go back to doing all of the fun things you should be doing right now. And thank you for, first of all, thank you for partly educating me today by reading your mock draft. And I look forward to talking to you more this week.
Thanks, Rick. And you know what I'm going to do after this? I'm going to watch film. So that's I'm going to watch film on some of these prospects, on some of these receivers today. So that's what I should be doing at 17.
Well, dig in, my friend. Have a good time.
You too, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, you take care.
Peace.
All right, Jacob Chardow. Love having him on. Love having him a part of any show here on the Bucs Report. I absolutely love that. That's one sharp kid, but he's not just a sharp kid. He's just a sharp football mind, period. And it doesn't even matter his age. It just makes it that much more spectacular that he's 17 years old and making me look like an idiot. But now let's bring in someone else here, another a friend of the show, but another Bucs Report expert that we have here. And I actually have some questions that I really want to get into with him here, so this is going to be good.
Expert.
Let's welcome Harry the Greek. How you doing, brother?
I am doing super fine. Rick, how you doing on this fine Monday evening? And how do I follow Jacob? I mean, this is like...
It's a tough follow, isn't it?
Oh, my God, it is.
It is a tough follow. He's now I want to talk to you about a couple things, but the first thing that I want to bring up to you is something I talked about on my show a little bit last night. The Buccaneers, well, the Chiefs, first of all, they picked to win 12 games.
Correct.
The Buccaneers, they've got, Vegas has them at 11.5, and that has me a little bit confused. Now, I will say this. I know that the reason Vegas sets odds the way that they do is because they think 50% of the people will go on one side, 50% of the people will go to the other side, and they'll make money. Okay, I get that. But 11.5 literally means that they're a worse team this year than they were last year because there's one extra game. Okay, and they won more than half their games, so they should win that. I mean, they are absolutely saying that the Buccaneers will not be quite as good this year, about the same, but not quite as good this year as they were last year. That makes no sense to me. What is Vegas thinking?
I'm going to explain that to you. And you know what? I need to kind of help everybody with this. It's not that they think they're going to be worse than last year, Rick. It's they look at the strength of schedule and who they're going to be playing.
It's the fourth easiest schedule in the league.
I understand that, and I don't know what the thinking was from last year. Look, Tampa doesn't get the respect, okay? They don't. I mean, I personally have bet literally a small fortune on the under on Kansas City. Kansas City's not only not going to win that many games next season, but they're not winning the Super Bowl. It is easy money. They have this team as the stone cold favorite, and I don't get it.
I don't either. And they've gotten worse. They've lost players, and their division has gotten better.
Yeah,
but they're predicting Kansas City to go back, and the Bucs, who their division's gotten worse, and they brought everybody back, they're saying no.
Look, it all stems from one thing in Kansas City, and it's Tyreek Hill. That man, and I'm going to publicly say this, and please don't slap me. He is a selfish player for not restructuring his contract in order, because had he restructured it, they wouldn't have had to get rid of some of those offensive linemen. Those are the guys that are going to keep his QB1 standing upright. Otherwise, you're going to see a lot of what you've seen in the Super Bowl, Mahomes running backwards 20 yards on every single play. But going back to what you were asking about Tampa just doesn't get the respect for it, okay? They don't. I don't care if they win 10 ball games next year, Rick. All they got to do is make it to the dance, because
Right.
that light bulb flips in the wild card. But the bottom
Yeah.
line is bet the over on Tampa, bet the under total amount of wins for Kansas City, and just have a blast. Do you believe
No.
that the Bucs are going to win the division this year?
Yeah, I don't even think it's a question. Well,
Okay.
let me say this. Barring anything unexpected.
Like Tom Brady breaking a leg and everything
Correct.
else? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
not happening.
Right. I don't, I mean, yeah, I don't see it. I don't,
Listen.
I don't understand, and I'm confused, and I'm willing to say, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody, I know more than you do. I'm going to sit here and say, guys, I'm a little confused at this 11 and a half, and maybe there's reason for it. Let me learn.
There's some places that are 10 and a half, Rick.
Yeah. I don't understand it.
There are some places in Vegas that have the over and under at 10 and a half wins. Look,
Right.
the only team in the South, and a lot of people are going to debate me with this, but come at the end of next year, you're going to say, wow, Greek, you were right.
Right.
The Carolina Panthers are going to finish second in this division, and New Orleans Saints are going to finish dead last. Okay, and that's just my opinion. Okay?
No,
I have reasons for that.
Sure.
Tampa's winning this division, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is anybody who's listening. You only if you want to just bet Tampa just to win a division, forget about going to the Super Bowl. Forget about winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
In order to win 100, you have to lay 150. That is like stealing.
That's a sucker bet. Yeah, don't do that, right?
No, it's not a sucker bet, because I don't see anybody challenging Tampa for this division.
Right.
Okay? All you have to do is lay 150 to win 100. That means if you went to Vegas or you went to a sports book or somewhere online, you would put up 150 in order to win 100. So when the wager does come in, you get your whole 250 back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay? You get your investment plus your return.
Well, no, I understand, but does it? I guess those always whenever you're investing that much more, like 50% more than what you're going to win.
Oh, that's not a lot. That's. Let me tell you something right now. That's very little juice, and the juice is known as the VIG or the interest.
Right.
I wish Ray was here. He can help me. But minus 150, Tampa's not even getting respect for winning the division. Okay, I got some lines for you. Okay, and I'm going to show you this. In the NFC East, they have the Cowboys at plus 140 to win the division. They have the Green Bay Packers in the NFC North. Forget about the Bears. The Minnesota Vikings are not a joke. The Green Bay Packers are minus 220 to win the division. Not 150 like Tampa, 220. And I think that the NFC North is a harder division because of the Bears and the Vikings. Okay? I mean, because now you're talking about New Orleans and Carolina.
I don't even think it's close. I think it's a harder division. Yeah, absolutely.
Tampa Bay's minus 150. The Saints are plus 200. Carolina's plus 800, and the Atlanta Falcons are plus 1,000. Let me get back to my other point. The AFC East, the Buffalo Bills are minus 160. Hey, hang on, guys. You got Miami and New England in that division.
Right.
It's not a give me. Here you go.
Well,
hold on. The AFC North. There's a reason why I'm bringing this up. The AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens are plus 130. Not minus, plus. Indianapolis is minus 140 against Tennessee and Houston. That is, how about this? Identical numbers. Indianapolis is minus 140. Tampa is minus 150. Now let's compare the divisions.
No, I mean you're hitting exactly what I was trying to get at. That the numbers don't make sense to me.
No.
That's why I was confused, because I'm not an expert at this. I'm not someone who can sit here and, you're the one who can teach about this. To me, I guess, and that's what makes somebody like you an expert, because you can look at this stuff and identify, hey guys, look at this. Here's an opportunity. Yep. And that's why you do what you do, right?
I preach play the underdog.
Yeah.
Rarely do you see me put my money on something that has to cost me extra money just to win my initial investment.
Right, that's what I was saying earlier.
This particular wager for Tampa just to win the division, it's not a sucker's bet. It's not too good to be true. It's the general public of the millions of people that are wagering that are not giving Tampa the respect, and that's why you're getting such a good return on this. You're only having to lay $50 extra to win your 100.
Is it
that
hatred?
Is insane.
Is it hatred for Tom Brady? Is that the catalyst?
I don't know, man. Everybody hates Tom Brady unless he's playing for you, unless you're
Right.
a Patriot fan or now you're a Tampa fan. You love to hate the guy. I hated Tom Brady for so many years until I actually, after about his 14th or 15th year, I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, you've got to give this guy some props.
Right.
I mean, for what he's done. I started admiring him before he came to Tampa Bay.
Right.
Okay? He's just a flat-out balling winner. Look.
Yeah.
Lay the 150. I can't preach it hard enough. Just lay the 150 to win the 100. It is the closest thing to perfect you're ever gonna find.
Awesome. That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to understand it because as soon as I saw the number, I was like, "Wait, what?"
What other teams? I'm going to ask you a question, Rick. What other teams do you think in the National Football League have a chance of winning the Super Bowl and take Tampa and Kansas City out of the equation?
Who else has a chance at winning it?
Yeah. What do you think? Give me 2 or 3 teams.
Indianapolis, Buffalo.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Right now, if you wagered $100, you get $1,500 back. Buffalo.
You get what?
Wait,
15,
what? That's right, $1,500. That's
okay.
right. If you wagered $100, you would get $1,500 back if Buffalo wins. Not Buffalo, Indianapolis. Buffalo is $1,400. So $100 gets you back, $14. Give me another team, Rick.
Oh, okay. Give me a second here. Let me chew on it for a second. I mean, okay, this is one people might scoff at. Tennessee.
Hold on. You shouldn't scoff at that. That's actually a really good pick. Are you ready, Rick?
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think you get back for $100?
$2,200.
How about $4,000?
Wow. All right. Okay. Now I'm beginning to understand. So you lay your bet on multiple teams.
Sure, you can. You can, but you got to follow the teams who you honestly think.
Right.
Like honestly, I don't get this. Plus 550 for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Plus 700 for Tampa.
Yeah.
Those are not big enough returns.
Right.
They're just not big enough returns. But Tennessee, oh my God, if that quarterback has a good year and that running game just continues to pound and they improve on defense.
Right. If McCaffrey doesn't get hurt. Right. That's why I mentioned them. Yeah. That's interesting. And that is something that's what threw me regarding all of it is when I was looking at the numbers. It was like I'm confused. I don't understand, and not that a lack of understanding is anything new to me, but it was some things don't make sense to me. But again, like I know Vegas is not about being a fan or rooting for one team over another, or even like you said, respect. I don't even think Vegas is about respect. Vegas is about money.
Nope. Without question.
Yeah, and they know full well that putting the line here means they're going to make money.
Absolutely. Here,
and that's why they're doing it.
The San Francisco 49ers, what did they win, a handful of games last year?
Yeah, they're the third pick. Well, they're
one of the favorites to win.
Yeah.
They're one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl at plus 1,400. What kind of sick crap is this?
Well, okay, they had a lot of injuries, like an unbelievable amount of injuries last year.
You know what? Think about it this way. Let's switch to baseball really quick. The New York Yankees are the perennial favorites to win the World Series.
Sure.
Them, the Chicago White Sox, and the LA Dodgers. That was like that last year with the Yankees. This year, they started out like they got a whole bunch of rocks in the bottom of a sack and you threw them in the water. Right. Now they're starting to suffer injuries. No one ever said that those injuries are going to become better. You can't lay that kind of money. I mean, I wouldn't even take them at the
No, I understand that.
They haven't showed me anything.
Right, I understand that.
Teams like the Chargers, plus 3,000. Plus the Raiders, plus 6,000. What if these teams found a little bit of juice? Yeah. Those are investments. Yeah. But I'll tell you what. The best investment that I can see is the NFC South. Bet your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, lay the few extra dollars, and bet $100 somewhere. It's going to cost you $150, and at the end, you're going to collect your $250 back.
You know what I don't understand? Explain this to me. Like, what would the right now if you had laid $100 down? I wish there was a way you could go back and look at this. If you had laid $100 down on this date 1 year ago on the Bucs winning the Super Bowl, what did you win?
It was plus 2,500 just to start. No, that was after they realized that Brady was going.
Right.
It was prior to Brady.
Well, no, that would be one year ago.
Prior to the Brady announcement, it was 6,000.
Wow.
Let me repeat it: 6,000.
And I guarantee you somebody did it.
The moment Brady, well, of course you do. All your diehard fans. You know what? A true story. I have a friend. His name is Mr. Cole. He was a frequent over at Tampa Dog Track and Derby Lane here in St. Pete. And every year, man, every single year, he bet $500 to $1,000 on the Boston Red Sox to win the World Series.
Right.
Now, he died some years ago.
Hopefully in time.
He died, never made the wager.
Oh.
And they won the World Series that year. I mean, just
I had a feeling that was coming. That was coming. Yeah. Oh, that's brutal.
You know, it's you know, there's a lot of fun, and these particular type of wagers for the people that are kind of novice to this, they're called proposition bets.
Right.
And they're a lot of fun, especially if there's like a Thursday night game or a single Monday night game, because they're going to bet on the coin toss, who's going to have this many yards. Rick, you remember? Why don't you share with some of the proposition bets that you had for the Super Bowl that we were just? I mean, it wasn't just the score. We were betting on individual players.
I bet that Tom Brady would throw 4 touchdown passes, and
it was over 3.5.
Right, it was over 3.5.
All he had to do was throw 4.
4, right. And Joe Haig in the end zone, if you guys remember, before the first half ended, Joe Haig, right before the first half ended, went up to catch a pass in the end zone and dropped it. And then Brady did, that would have put him over 4, and he didn't throw one touchdown pass the whole second half, and I lost.
Rick,
because,
can you give him my story about Rojo?
Oh no, you're gonna have to do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I remember the phone call.
Oh,
it was after they dropped the pass. If everybody remembers when Rojo had, I don't know, 100 times to get in the end zone from the 1, all he had to do was score a touchdown. And I'm telling you, that was a major score for me. I mean, I thought they were, you know, that wager was like stealing cherries from Aunt Mary's. I'm not kidding you, buddy. It was that easy. You know, and I'm going to go back and tell everybody what it was. Did you know that the over and under total yards for Ronald Jones in the entire game was 36, and Leonard Fournette was like 41? Okay, I mean, I was like, what is this, a joke?
Right.
I mean, over.
Yeah.
You know? But then I got a little creative because they were starting to give me like 8 or 9 to 1 on my money. Will Ronald Jones score in the first half? Yes. You know, I mean, and I'm like,
and
oh
he
my
couldn't
God,
score from the 1.
No, but do you remember when they went in and everybody was like jumping up and down? Oh, touchdown!
And he didn't
and
get
under
in.
further review, he didn't cross the goal line, and I'm throwing stuff at the TV. I almost cursed because I'm still upset about that. But that was so much fun.
Yeah, that's why that's half the reason people bet is for the fun. It's not just for the money.
And those are proposition bets, folks.
Yeah.
All you have to do is find yourself an online account. It's easy to fund, and it's just a ton of fun to do. I mean, and if you do end up, following the shows, you're going to see some of the picks. I had a pretty good year last year. Rick will attest to it, and I'm off to a pretty decent start this year. I've actually made a few bucks.
I strongly suggest, guys, on Wednesday night, tell them where to find you, Harry.
It's real simple. On Wednesday night at 9 p.m., sometimes just a few minutes before. It's called the Over and Under. I'm Harry the Greek. My co-host is Tampa Bay Ray. We're going to try to squeeze Rick Hughes on this show because we're going to, as they say in the South, we're going to learn you today.
We're going to learn me something?
We're going to learn you something. A little something.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, it's a great show, and I made reference to it multiple times on my show last night because I knew you had the information that I needed and wanted to answer my question about the 11.5. And I'm very glad you came by tonight to help me out with that because that's a question I've had. It's been burning, and thank you.
Not a problem. I was just reading one of the comments. Johnny Dean's hilarious.
What did he say?
Anyone want to see Harry smash his cup? Jump up and down and start dancing. Oppa!
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you so much for having me on. Everybody out there who's listening, bet your Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the division. It is literally like stealing cherries from Aunt Mary's. Lay the extra juice. Bet that. It is literally one of the closest things to a cinch that I've seen in years. They are getting zero respect.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. Thank
Have a
you.
good
Thank you.
evening.
Yep.
Thank you,
Have a
Rick.
great night. Thanks for coming on. That was Harry the Greek, and wow, that was awesome. That was awesome. I've been waiting for that info. I've been wanting to have that conversation with him. I got a little stirred up last night on live from the cheap seats, wondering about that because that's something that was eating at me. It was bothering me because everything seemed a little bit out of whack to me. Everything seemed wrong, I guess, when it came to those numbers, and apparently even to my untrained eye, yeah, okay, that's something to jump on. So that's interesting. Anyway, I want to talk about. Let me circle back to. I was talking to you about BA's golf outing and how he was talking about Brady's knee and everything, and I want to talk also about. He spoke about the OTAs. He spoke about how the players had opted out, and there's a really great quote from him about this, and I thought it was. I actually thought it was fantastic, and it sort of gives us a little bit of insight into how BA feels about the players opting out. He said, "We know that our union worked to negotiate safety protocols. But in the light of the ongoing pandemic, we are choosing to take a stand with other players across the league and exercise our right not to participate in the voluntary off-season program." The NFL Players Association said, that's actually what the NFL Players Association said. We had a fully virtual off-season last year, and we held each other accountable, and basically we plan to do that again. And basically, Arians was okay with that. I don't think he likes it. I think he's not thrilled with it. I think he'd rather have the players there. And what I love about everything I've seen from Arians is his hyped up, jacked up mentality about kicking their butt and telling them, okay, great. That was last year that you won a Super Bowl, not this year. You guys haven't done anything. Now he uses a lot more colorful language than I do when it comes to that, but that's his thinking is that this team's done nothing. And I love the fact that he's actually hammering these guys and pushing them to achieve again. And I was listening to an interview with Mike Evans today, and Mike Evans was talking about being in shape and his desire to show up in shape, and how everybody's working very hard to when they show up to camp, they're going to be ready, that they're going to be in shape. Nobody's slacking off. And that's unusual for teams that win Super Bowls. I mean, everybody kind of scatters and goes in different directions. And this team is stuck together. And they're not just saying, okay, we're going to go for two. They're actually seem pretty serious about it. And that's the exciting part about that. Because most of the time, teams are not as, you get full. Okay, you get satisfied. Let me give you an example. Everybody has had the opportunity to have a really great Thanksgiving meal, and what do? You overindulge. It's nature. It's Thanksgiving. It's time. This is your chance to overindulge, right? Players do the same thing when they win the Super Bowl. Mentally and emotionally, they overindulge when it comes to performing at their best the next year. They think only about money, etc. And Mike Evans talked about the fact that players are willing to give up their money. Not just him, but players across the team are willing to give up their money. And he gave the reason why. And he said basically that you've got a finite amount of time in this league, and the goal in this league, your reason for being in the league, and I thought this was very, very interesting, and it kind of goes against something Johnny and I have talked about, Johnny Dean, the professor. Mike Evans said, our goal in this league is, now in my head it's always been to make money. That's been what I think Tyreek Hill and many, many players honestly believe. They're in this league because they want to make money. That's what they're doing. This is their profession. That's what they're doing. You're trying to make money at your profession. You're going to go where you can make the most money, right? Same thing with these guys. Mike Evans said something different, and I thought it was fascinating to me. He said, our goal in this league, every player's goal in this league, is to win a championship. That's the goal. So no, we're not going to split apart and go in different directions, because our best way to reach our goal is to stay here. The unstated goal is, or the unstated point that he was making was, our goal is not to get wealthier. Our goal is to win. That's more important to us. That's strange in all the right ways. That's exciting in all the right ways. This team, Mike Evans, standing in, I believe it was his driveway, talking to Casey Phillips from Buccaneers.com, said, our goal as players is to win championships every year. And that's why we're taking less money, so we can stay together, because that's the easiest way to reach our goal. That's amazing to me, because Tyreek Hill says, I'm not going to renegotiate. Now, I want to bring up something about Tyreek Hill not being willing to renegotiate his contract, okay? Tyreek Hill said, when I sign a contract, that's it. I'm going to play out that contract. That's my contract. I signed it. We're going to stick to it. Both sides are going to stick to it. That's what we agreed upon, period. On the surface, okay, that sounds reasonable. But here's where it's not reasonable. If he renegotiated his contract, he could make more money. He can actually make more money now, because you can get a bigger signing bonus. You can bring in the money up front, spread it over the years, the additional years. There are things that he can do. So what he literally did is put himself in a position where his team has fewer players. They've had to give up offensive linemen and some other people on Kansas City because they can't afford to keep everybody around, and he was not willing to renegotiate. Okay, so he basically said, I'm not going to make more money and I'm going to hurt the team. It makes zero sense. He had an opportunity to make more money. If his goal was the money, he just blew part of his goal. Makes no sense to me at all. I don't get it. When we come back, it's your turn. All right, guys, so I want to hear from you. I want to talk about everything I just talked about Tyreek Hill, about the salary cap, about what the Buccaneers have been saying, Tom Brady's knee. We got all kinds of things to talk about, all kinds of stuff. So I do want to hear from you, Parrot Army. I want to hear from you. Let's. It's time to crank up the pandemonium. It's your turn. All right, guys, it is your turn. You can either call the number at the bottom of the screen, or you can go to the link that I just put in the chat box, and I want to hear from you. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Brady's knee, BA's attitude about the players opting out, Tyreek Hill, the Bucs only only getting 11.5. As their win total for this year from Vegas. All of this is something for us to dig in. It's your turn. Come on, guys. Let me hear from you. I put the link in there. I have the phone number on the screen. I want to hear from you. It's not just my opinion here that matters. It's a big part of this is hearing from you, hearing what you guys have to say. The Parrot Army is very important to me, so I want to hear from all of you guys. Johnny Dean, I know you're out there. I see you made it. Thank you. I know it's been a rough week for you, my friend. You're in thoughts and prayers, my friend, and I want you to know that Tracy is on our minds. So let's see here. Speaking of, hi Johnny, how are you doing?
How's it going, Rick?
Hey, brother.
Okay, let's start with the last thing we were talking about there.
Okay, which one is that?
Players taking money over the
Yeah.
game, and
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a newsflash to anybody, but a lot of these guys use football as a way out of poverty. Okay,
Yeah.
and not just poverty. When they want out of poverty, they're looking to make it for their families and their grandkids,
Yep.
so that they don't never go back into that
Right.
situation. Okay,
Right.
so I can't hold it against them.
No.
I don't want that attitude on our team. But
What I don't understand though is he could have made more. He chose not to make more by renegotiating.
Right. Well, I think he's gonna come back to the table later on too.
Yeah, but he said no renegotiating. I'm playing out my contract. Once I sign it, I'm playing it out.
That kind of sounds to me like he wants to play it out, honor his contract, and then be gone somewhere.
Yeah, I mean it's bizarre thinking. And in the meantime, Mike Evans is saying we've got a team full of unselfish players that just want to win.
Right.
And I mean that's
wasn't his comment though. When he made that comment, wasn't that about players taking less?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I think that's what the meaning was. He's not going to take less after he worked. All right, these kids.
No, he said flat out the reason we're willing to take. He said flat out the reason we're willing to take less money is because the goal is to win.
Right. That's
and that if we have to take if we have to take less as a team, if the players have to take less, it's worth it. That's what he said.
That's a certain mindset. That's from guys who have that experience. And Tyreek Hill's only been in the league a couple of years, man.
Yeah, but
he hasn't gained that experience. He hasn't got that drive. He hasn't made that money yet.
Yeah, that Super Bowl came to him fairly easily. Also, yeah, no, he's making the money. He's got the big contract, and he's got a
contract, but he hasn't paid out until he's like Mike Evans been in the league for 8 years.
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
okay? 8 years, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyreek very easily could have simply said, "That's fine. I want a big signing bonus.
Yes,
let's re-sign, and we'll spread it over more time." And he could have made more money. It was odd. It was odd. But what are you going to do? Yeah, I don't know. But all I can tell you, it's probably not the same one Mike Evans has. But I mean, all I can tell you is when you look at players like Evans and Godwin, every moment that goes by, I appreciate them even more. I think Mike Evans sometimes acts a little bit like a baby on the field, but off the field, that's a man. And the way he acts, the things that he says, I am impressed with off the field. And the way he carries himself. So I've got nothing but good things to say about him. I'm going to move on to Matt Colson. Johnny, thank you for calling.
All right, bud.
You hang back around. We'll do another It's Your Turn a little later.
All right, bud.
All right, let's bring Matt Colson from Oklahoma City. Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm good, Rick. Good show.
Thank you. Welcome.
So I went in on a mission today to find answers to your pondering question about why in the world we got 11.5 wins.
Yeah, did you come up with anything?
I did.
What'd you come up with?
Marcellus Wiley and his show on Fox Sports.
Okay.
Talking about Brady.
Okay.
Statistically, regular season he was 66-ish percentage completion.
Okay.
Postseason, every game in the postseason from Washington to the Super Bowl, he declined to about 53% at the bottom. At the same time that the defense was peaking, so we didn't notice. But what they were talking about, it was a comparison with Brady versus Roethlisberger, and how Roethlisberger went to 11-0 and then just drove off the cliff and nobody.
They've been calling Brady going off the cliff for how many years now? He just won the Super Bowl. Look, they changed the game plan.
Well, I know you probably can define it any way you want to, but that statistically,
That's
I wasn't
why.
aware of that. It kind of shocked me.
Well,
And I
it
was
doesn't.
like,
It doesn't shock me because the game plan changed. They started to run the ball more. They literally changed the game plan.
right. But then his percentage shouldn't change up or down. If they're not throwing it, he doesn't lose anything on percentage of completion.
No, sure it does because you're running different routes. You're running a different. You're playing the game differently. You're not throwing to backs as often. They're when you do throw, you throw deep, but you don't throw as often. I mean, it changes. He only needed 166 yards or whatever in the Super Bowl to win 31-9. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I mean it changed. The way they played the game changed. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it, but that's why Brady's never been as a fantasy quarterback. Brady's never been the guy ever.
No.
And yeah, if that's what they went with, if that's what let me just say this. If teams are looking at that, oh man, I'm licking my chops. That warms my heart because that is a complete lack of understanding of what happened on offense.
Well, I think there's, it's also off season. They need to fill a block, so they brought it up and discussed it.
Yeah. Well, it's
But
a good
it was
question.
interesting
It's a good question. I don't know that it's just because they needed to fill a block. I mean, it's a good question. It raised my thinking. It was like it didn't make sense to me.
Right. Well, I think what they were trying to point out is they're going to have one extra game this year. Plus, hopefully, we don't get wild card. Hopefully, we get a bye.
Right.
If we ended up in the same scenario where we're playing 21 games, they were alluding to the fact, and you can read through it and see, but I think they're trying to say that his arm started falling off at the end of the year. Now, I watched the guy throw 45-yard passes at the end of the year, so I don't know that his arm fell off.
Right. Nothing looked different. The game plan changed.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I thought maybe
Remember they didn't run the ball early in the year? And then they started running the ball at the end of the year. They changed everything they were doing.
Right.
So yeah, it impacted his percentage. Okay. I mean, I don't know.
Well, anyway, I wanted to share that and get people.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in with that. And that's an interesting stat. It's something to ponder. But if that's really the reason, I'm licking my chops. So thanks for calling in, Matt.
All right, Rick. You have a good night.
Steven Glasker. Hi, my friend. How are you?
Hey, Rick. What's going on? How you doing, brother?
Wonderful. Doing awesome. Boy, the miscreants are out tonight. I appreciate you guys showing up. For those who don't know, some of these guys calling in, they are we call them the miscreants on my other show, What's Cooking in the South and Live from the Cheap Seats. These are guys that you guys are all wonderful for Bucs Report, and I appreciate you guys more than you guys know.
We appreciate you too, brother. In fact, I got my Miscreant to the Core T-shirt in. I will be wearing it next show.
Nice. Mine actually is coming tomorrow, so I will be wearing it also.
Awesome. Hey, just real quick, couple of things I want to touch on. Just a little nitpicky, but there were a couple of times in Brady's NFL career where you could have had him in fantasy and done very well. 2007, for instance.
Right. Right.
I'm
I'm meaning in general. I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're correct.
Not a surefire bet. He's not a surefire bet every year. No.
He's not the quarterback you in general want to rush and draft right off the top.
Right, and he's okay with that. And you're absolutely right. They changed. What they really did was they incorporated a lot of what he did in New England into the Bucs offense because their game plan, exactly like you said, changes as needed based on the opponent.
Right.
And that's what they did, and that's where the success came from, which made it hard for people to defend because they didn't know quite what to expect. It wasn't the normal Arians offense. It was an amalgamation of different things that needed to get done in order to win. Because they could have put up 45 on the Chiefs. They just decided to run out the clock in the second.
Well, why? I mean, and why not? I mean, when your defense is doing what their defense was doing, why not? I mean, just let's just keep chewing through the clock. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, their defense is not the Bucs defense. So when the Atlanta Falcons tried to just run out the clock at 28-3, oops.
Right.
Because they didn't have the Bucs defense. So
Exactly. And I understand what you're saying about the 11.5, except the only thing I can figure out, I was listening to the show the other night when you were wanting Harry's perspective on it,
yeah,
is I think they're expecting the South to be better as well. With Sam
that
Darnold
makes
coming,
no sense to me.
Christian McCaffrey's going to be healthy. I think they believe Carolina is going to be better. I don't know about Atlanta.
I
I
think
don't know if they've got
Carolina will
Tyler
be
Smith or
better.
what.
Yeah, I think Carolina
So
will be better. Atlanta lost their entire defensive secondary. There's nobody left back there. I mean, they're literally recruiting people like, I mean, they're like, hey, you over here, want to be a DB? I mean, it's their defense is in shambles. It's a mess. You're
right,
going to score 50 on them,
right.
and I mean, yeah, they got Julio Jones, but he'll be out by the second week. I mean, it's just. It just seems like the kind of thing where I don't know. I don't think this team. I don't think this Falcons team is. I mean, it's going to take a year or two under this new coaching staff. At Carolina, yeah, I think Carolina's going to be better. New Orleans is a wild card. I don't know what to expect. I genuinely don't know what to expect.
That's the other thing. As bad as Jameis played for us, as bad as he played for Tampa Bay, he's got a rocket arm.
Well, we don't even know if he's going to be quarterback. That's the funny thing about all of it. I don't even know who's going to be quarterback.
Do you really think Taysom Hill is going to win that job? Stop it.
He did it. No. Hold on. Sean Payton, for whatever reason, believes in this guy. They signed him to a lot of money because they believe in him. You got to remember that.
I really hope they play him. If they
play
him,
either one is
that division.
Yeah, either one. It's going to be fun because, I mean, listen. What I would do just to watch a pick six going the other for the Bucs. Oh man, just that moment. I just let's hope that happens just once. I don't even care. It was funny because I saw a post saying how let's hope it doesn't become a trend that both times the Bucs won the Super Bowl, they got swept by New Orleans. Let's hope that doesn't become a trend. Let me tell you something. I will take that trend. If they can win the Super Bowl this year and lose both times to New Orleans, I'm good.
I mean, they're totally cool with getting beat by Jameis twice and then spanking them in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Or not even playing them in the playoffs, but you end up winning the Super Bowl. I don't care. I don't care how it happens. I'm good with it.
Yes, sir.
So, yep. But I'm excited about it. This is gonna be a fun year. It's gonna be a fun year. I got all kinds of goodies to cover, so thank you for calling, Stephen.
Thanks,
much
brother.
appreciated. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome in the comment section. Thank you. I am watching it. I am reading them. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Rick. Have a good night.
Yep. All right. That is awesome. I want to get into something a little bit different here. I want to talk about a particular player that many of you may not even have heard of. He's a player that you might not even have heard of in college. But he's on the Buccaneers roster. And he's an interesting player, so much so that I wrote an article about him for Bucs Report last year, and I don't like to write articles. But he's a very interesting guy, and I want to talk a little bit about him. His name is John Franklin III. Very interesting college career. Let me read you a little bit about John Franklin III. His college career took him to FSU, then Eastern Mississippi, then Auburn, and finally Florida Atlantic. Each of those first teams, FSU, Eastern Mississippi, and Auburn, tried to take this guy and turn him into a cornerback or a wide receiver. He went to Florida Atlantic, who initially tried to turn him into a defensive back or wide receiver. But they said, you know what, you've been saying you want to be quarterback, let's give you a crack at it. So they gave him a crack at quarterback, and he did pretty darn well in college. So what happens? He comes to the pros. He gets drafted by the Bears. All right, he got drafted by the Bears. I believe it was in, I'm not positive. I think it was 2016. He was drafted by the Bears. They tried to turn him into a wide receiver. Then they tried to turn him into a cornerback. What ended up happening is they cut him. Bruce Arians picked him up in 2019. He joined the Bucs in 2019 as sort of an experiment. Here's what happened. They picked him up, and these are guys that most of us never even hear about. He wasn't even on the practice squad. He literally came into practice to mock Deshaun Watson. That was his job, was to play the role of Deshaun Watson just the week we were going to play Houston. And he impressed the living daylights out of the coaches. And they said, I think we want to keep this guy around. So what ended up happening? Last year, John Franklin III, he's getting ready to play. And right at the very beginning, now they're high on him. They're talking about him. This guy, this backup quarterback, they're getting excited about this guy. And he has a knee injury. He's gone for the year. I heard an interview with him the other day talking about how disappointed he was that he didn't have the opportunity to be a part of the team because of the injury, but that he was still able to be somewhat involved around the team and to be involved in sort of the Super Bowl and all of that, and to just be able to have some sort of experience with it because they kept him around. Why did they keep him around? Obviously, Bruce Arians likes this guy. He's not just mobile. He's apparently Deshaun Watson type mobile. Okay, they used him to mock him, like play him in practice. All right, they're bringing him back this year. The Bucs are bringing him back. Now, I know we're all talking about who's going to be backup quarterback, who's going to be backup quarterback. There's a shot. It may be John Franklin III. He may be the backup quarterback. And I think that's pretty interesting. He joined the Bucs in November of 2019. And by the next week, they actually added him to the practice squad because they liked him so much. Now, he's back with the Bucs. He's got a lot of hope for this year. Arians likes the guy. The coaching staff likes this guy. So all I will tell you is this. Here's a guy that is sound like John Madden. Here's a guy that little known. He's very under the radar. Nobody's talking about him, but he's making waves. He's making waves. So remember the name John Franklin III, and let's all root for the guy. Hopefully, John Franklin III will make the team, and maybe we've got our hands on something special. I also want to talk about O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard versus Cam Brate. I want to talk about the value of both of them. Which one of them is the better guy to keep around? Do you keep them both around? Now, I want to say something. Everybody every Bucs fan loves Cam Brate. I get it. You love Cam Brate. Who doesn't love Cam Brate? He's been a workhorse for this team. He's been a great tight end for this team for years and years and years. O.J. Howard has all the potential and all the flash and all of that. It's an amazing. He's got all the possibilities in the world. So what do? Do you go with the guy that, slow and steady, you can count on him? Do you go with the guy with all the potential? I want to propose something. I want to bring up something. And it may not be the most popular move. I believe Cam Brate is coming to the end. He's nearing the end of his career. I don't believe he's at the end of his career. I think he still has potential. And I know the Bucs are in win now mode. But I want to throw out the fact that I think this is a breakout season for O.J. Howard. A lot of people predicted it last year, but the injury happened. I think this is the year you're going to see O.J. Howard break out. This is the time to try to get something for Cam Brate. I know it's not a popular thing to say because we all love the guy. Look at what he's done. He's been great for this team. He really has. But now's the time, because he's only got a couple of years left, and they're not going to probably be as strong as they have been. And you've got a great tight end room. Now is the time when you can afford to do this. Now, I don't believe, let me say this. Well, first of all, they're making 6.5, each of them, O.J. Howard and Cam Brate, each of them is making $6.5 million this year. Let's say you don't bring Cam Brate back. Okay, let's say you don't bring Cam Brate back. What ends up happening to this team? Is this team okay without Cam Brate? I think it's fine. The team is fine without Cam Brate. It's not perfect, but I think it's fine. So it's funny to me as I as I watch it, and I think, wow, what could the Buccaneers do if they had $6.5 million right now towards the salary cap? If they opened up $6.5 million this year, what could they do? Who could they bring in? What could happen? How much better could the roster be? Really, how much do you lose plugging other players in at tight end? I'm not saying you don't lose anything. I'm proposing, how much do you lose if you put O.J. Howard in at tight end? Now you say, well, O.J. Howard's not as good of a blocker. Okay. But now you bring in a back. If you've got a back right now that you just brought in, that's a very good blocker. So now all of a sudden you've raised your game as far as blocking and protecting your quarterback. So Giovanni Bernard sort of fills in what you would lose with Brate, and then you're better as far as pass receiving, etc., and more versatility with O.J. Howard. So it's something to consider. It's something to at least look at. It's something to not dismiss. Yeah, I love Cam Brate. Guys, I love Cam Brate. Who doesn't love Cam Brate? Look at everything that guy's done. He's always just catching touchdowns, man. But is that the right thing for the Buccaneers? It's a good question. It's a very good question. I don't know the answer, but it's something to propose. And it's also the same thing. Everybody's talking about in the draft, number 32, the 32nd pick. Everybody's talking about Najee Harris. Now, the Bucs have been linked to every position. I swear, I've heard everything. I've heard defensive line. I've heard offensive line. I've heard backup quarterback. I've heard Najee Harris. I've basically heard everybody. Okay, a little bit of everything. Linebacker. And I'm going to get into a little bit about their needs and about that sort of thing. But what I want to point out, Najee Harris, first of all, I don't think Najee Harris is going to be available. All right, I don't think he's going to be there at number 32. That guy's too good. If he's there at number 32, yeah, draft him. And that's something I actually a few days ago would have felt differently until I've been digging in and learning more about this and understanding just how good that guy is and how versatile he is, and that he catches passes like a beast out of the backfield, and he's a great blocker. He picks up the blitz. This is a guy that does it all as a running back. I think he's somebody you want to get, but I don't see how he'll be available at 32. I just don't see it. And everybody predicting him, man, I don't see it. But if he's available, grab him. And now, think. You've got Najee Harris, Leonard Fournette, Keyshawn Vaughn, and Giovanni Bernard as your backup. If you trade Rojo and you trade Brate, think of what you're getting. Your opening salary cap space. All right, your opening salary cap space so you can do more things. And you're building more for future. So I think there's wisdom in that. And I'm going to want to hear from you guys in just a minute about that. But I want to discuss moving up or down or staying put. I think if you move up, if the Bucs move up, it better be for one heck of a player. I don't understand the value. I don't understand the reason you would move up, because if you trade up, what are you trading up? You're trading up for a backup. So you're giving up capital for somebody who's most likely not going to start on your team. So I don't necessarily believe in trading up. If they trade up, it's got to be for somebody who's got some kind of a chance to start. What about trading down? Well, there's a lot of value in the number 32 pick, because in the first round, anybody who's drafted in the first round, the team gets a 5th-year option on that player. The team basically gets an extra year contract. After the first round, the player signed for 4 years. So, the Bucs are in a great position for anybody who is looking at that number 32 pick and saying, we want to get up there, we want to trade up because we want to get this player and get that extra year's contract. It has more value than other picks. It has good value for the position that it's in. So I got to tell you, I'm a fan of moving down, of trading down. I am a very big fan of trading down. Somebody's going to drop in the draft. Somebody always drops in the draft. Every freaking time, every year, somebody drops, and it's going to happen this year. The Bucs might grab him. If they stay put, they're going to have the opportunity to get someone that dropped. Otherwise, trade down. That's my opinion. That is what I feel about that. In a couple of minutes here, I want to hear from you about that. Now, I want to talk about the Bucs' needs. Right after we go back to this message again about Live from the Cheap Seats. Okay, to Teresa, Cam Brate's, O.J. Howard's best catch was not on the river. O.J. Howard's best catch was at a baseball game on the sidelines when he caught a foul ball at one of the Rays playoff games. But anyway, the Bucs needs, and I want to talk about this. Just let's call this the very first 30,000 feet up overview of the Bucs needs in the draft and what's most important for the Bucs to get. What they really it'd be nice. What are the nice to haves? But this team is not in a position where they really have needs. They're not desperately needing to fill any gaps or holes. You can tell that because, well, it's the Super Bowl team that's coming back. So, all right. The defensive line, let me say this. This is a terrible draft, supposedly the worst draft possibly ever at defensive tackle. Let me say that again. This may be the worst draft in NFL history at defensive tackle. So for everybody who's saying, let's get Sue's replacement, this might not be the right year. This might not be the right year. There are, I mean, it's one thing to want that, but if it ain't there, it ain't there. Now, maybe you can take a flyer on a guy who's a bit of a reach, but I'm not so sure that's a good idea either. I'd rather build by trading down and get future draft picks, maybe for next year when there are players that are available. Outside linebacker. The Bucs really have no depth or very little depth behind JPP and Shaq Barrett. The last relatively high draft pick that the Bucs spent on this position was back in 2016 when they got Noah Spence. We all know how that worked out. So, outside linebacker, they need some depth there, and you're drafting for depth. So there are some players out there, and we'll get into the minutia of all that. We'll get in the weeds. We'll dig into all that later. But that is something that the Bucs need, and that might be there. That might be there. That's what Jacob Charnow drafted. We had him on earlier. That's what he projected in his mock draft for the Bucs. Interior offensive line. Look, Ryan Jensen and Alex Kappa. After next season, they're free agents. Makes Aaron Stinney very important, doesn't it? Aaron Stinney and his nice little filling in last year makes him very, very important. But I am all about drafting for the trenches. Just draft linemen. I'd be thrilled if we just drafted linemen. So that is what I would like to see happen. Now, the last 5 draft picks for the Bucs, before I throw this back to you and start to get your opinion on all of this, and it'll be your turn in just a second. The last 5 top draft picks for the Bucs in 2016. Vernon Hargreaves. He's already gone. He's cut. We all know the history with Vernon Hargreaves. It's brutal. I think he's playing for the Texans, barely. 2017, O.J. Howard. Well, that's better than Hargreaves. 2018, Vita Vea. Wow, that's a nice pick. 2019, Devin White. Great pick. 2020, Tristan Wirfs. The one thing I want to point out about, if you look at these last picks, Vernon Hargreaves, O.J. Howard, Vita Vea, Devin White, Tristan Wirfs. Every year, you can see Jason Light become a very good general manager. You see the growth, you see what happened there. But you also have to see that during those first picks, Jason Light was drafting for a coach he did not choose, a system he did not choose. He's drafting for a system that he was saddled with. You're seeing everybody who points out these picks that didn't work out. Jason Light was not able to choose the head coach. He was not able to choose the system and build the system that he's familiar with and comfortable with. And everybody has to understand, when Jason Light got his guy in here, look at the last 3 draft picks, top draft picks: Tristan Wirfs, Devin White, and Vita Vea. It's really hard to look at those 3 picks and find any fault at all. All 3 of them will very likely be Pro Bowlers. All 3 of them will very likely be Pro Bowlers. If you could go back in that draft and pick somebody now, you'd pick the same guy. That is a testament to Jason Light and his talent and what he's done and what a great general manager he is. I'm going to throw this out to you now. It's your turn. Let's talk about the draft. All right, guys, I'm going to put this back out there for you. All right, guys, some of you called before. You are welcome to call back in again if you want to talk about the draft. I'm also going to open up the phone line here in just a moment. Here we go. All right. You're welcome to call in on the phone. You're welcome to use the link that I put in there. Again, you don't have to come on video, but I'd love it if you do. But let's talk draft. Let's talk about the things that I said. Let's talk about O.J. Howard. All right, great. Johnny Dean, the professor, is back. Hey, Johnny. Johnny? You're muted, brother. Johnny, go. There we go. That's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Actually, I was on a little bit of a rant, so it's a good thing that was done.
What was the rant?
I don't want O.J. Howard any longer. I don't want to invest more time and more money in the guy. He hasn't developed. He's had 2 years under Arians, and well, I haven't seen anything other than a catch in a baseball stadium from him.
Do you think? But Arians seems to feel like he's seen something.
Well, Arians thought he saw something in Winston until he didn't.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
And O.J. Howard is not like a quarterback. He's not somebody that you got to, okay, we got to placate this guy. Arians might be trying to placate Jason because Jason drafted him so high, but,
Let me point something out though. Arians cut ties with Vernon Hargraves. Arians cut ties with Jameis Winston. Arians has not cut ties with OJ Howard, and it seems like there's probably a reason for that. It seems like he sees something and he believes in him.
OJ's on that he's got that extension, which I don't even know why he got. Well, I guess because of where he was drafted. Never mind. But
yeah. Well, but no, I don't think that's true
I'm
because
not sold on Howard after 4 years. If you don't see something that says, and everybody talks about his blocking improve. His blocking didn't improve. He got a couple of good blocks, which he's gotten each year. He's been here. He's gotten a couple of good blocks, but that's it. He gets bulldozed most of the time. And,
okay. So you'd rather have Brate for a couple of years?
Yeah,
and
we can draft. We can draft another tight end. Tight ends aren't that hard to draft. And oh my God,
it's a shame we can't get that guy from Florida.
Pitts. You see in the comments, I was making a joke. But
Yeah,
I would if they did that because of how weak this draft is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to them just trading everything in and going for Pitts.
No, I'd be okay with that too. If they traded everything and went and got Pitts, I'd actually be okay with that because I think that guy's the best player in the draft.
He is. He's hands down the best player in the draft.
Yeah.
Of course, quarterback's going to be ranked higher because it's a more valuable position.
And I got to tell you though, I'm not a fair judge because I'm a Gator fan. I am very familiar with him.
Well, I am a fair judge. I'm not a Gator fan.
Right.
And Pitts is hands down the best player in this draft.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
What do you think about what I brought up about John Franklin III? And
I honestly believe that's our Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think you're going to see him. I think you're going to see him on the field this year.
Yes, I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's somebody nobody's looking at, but I would pay attention. I would pay attention if I were you.
I was in the chat. And I almost wrote, "Shut up, Rick! Don't talk about Franklin." That's our secret weapon."
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I agree with what Izzy said in the chat. Izzy said, "Yeah, if he can stay healthy, yeah, that is the question, isn't it? Can he stay healthy?"
Can I say something, man?
Yeah.
Jeremiah just wrote something about Derwin James and Vita Vea. Vita Vea is by far, we saw last year the impact we had on this team when Vita Vea was not in it. They used two people to replace Vita Vea, okay? And they had to change the scheme, and then they even had to move Barrett and JPP into different schemes because of Vita Vea's absence, okay?
No,
Vita Vea is the most crucial part of that line right there.
No, he's. I don't know that. It's hard to say who's the most crucial. I think JPP probably is. Well, I think JPP is. Wait, remember when JPP came back from injury and everything changed with the defense last year? I think
exact same thing with Vita this year.
No, well, no, because the team was still. Well, hold on. Listen, let me finish what I'm saying. Okay, it's two different things. I believe that the soul of the defense is JPP. He's the one who keeps them motivated, who keeps them wanting to be professional, a desire to win and a hunger to win, and all of that comes from JPP. I believe Vita Vea, I believe is just a dominant, ridiculous force in the middle of that line.
He's the anchor and the motor of the defensive line.
Yes.
And when you don't have that, you can't play as aggressively as Todd Bowles likes to play.
Right. I do. I agree with that.
You saw that instant impact of him playing, even in his first game back, man. Like with JPP.
Yeah.
You know, those two players are crucial on that team right there.
Oh yeah. But like Mike DeRoy basically brought up, simmer down, Sparky. I'm not saying that Vita Vea is not important. Yeah, I'm not saying Vita Vea is not important. I'm saying
I didn't get fired up because of you. I got fired up because Jeremiah over here.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking about Derwin James.
Please.
You know what, Jeremiah? Call in. Come on in here and make your case. All right? Come on in here and make your case. But it seems to me, and I don't know, I mean, there is no real area of need, okay? But do you see Jason Light, how he's grown as a GM?
Absolutely. And the part about need, you're absolutely right about that. And if you go down the prospects of this draft and you compare them to what each of our positions are already filled with, there's not a single prospect except for like Pitts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
who would be a starter on this team.
It makes no sense to me. I don't know that I've ever seen a team that has zero needs. I don't know that I've ever seen that. I mean,
yeah, I can't say that I have.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Before the AFC and NFL, the
yeah,
AFL.
yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, when they're saying draft Najee Harris, I want you to think about that. Okay, I want you to think about that. I was thinking about it this morning when they were talking or this afternoon. I'm sorry, they were talking on NFL Network on Path to the Draft. They were talking about the Bucs draft. I think it was Charlie Casserole. He said the Bucs are going to get Najee Harris, which I don't think is going to happen. But they said if he's on there, he'd probably be the best running back on the team. And I want you to think about that. Because you're talking a team with Leonard Fournette, Keyshawn Vaughn, Giovanni Bernard.
And Ronald Jones, who we're not happy with, and he's a second-round pick.
Yeah, Ronald Jones. I think Ronald Jones would probably be gone. And I mean, you can't. Let's put it this way: there's only so many running back spots you can hold, and somebody's got to go. And it just seems like he's the most expendable because he's got the biggest weak spots in his game. I mean, his inability to catch.
Rick, you got Jeremiah down there wanting to call in. He says he can't get in. Is he using the right number? He might be using the old number.
I put the number on the screen. It should be working, Jeremiah. The number on the screen should be working. Let me double triple check here, but it should be working. Hold on just a moment. And Jeremiah, you can always use the link that I put on there. Try it again, Jeremiah. Try it again one more time. It definitely should be working. But you can always use the link that I put on here. I'll do it again. You can just come on video. On audio, just like the professor is doing right now. I'm going to put that back in there for you. There you go. If for whatever reason you're unable to get through, I'm not sure why. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that could be. Jeremiah
would talk about Jason Light, which is like one of my favorite topics. The guy,
me too.
Proven to be one of the best general managers in the league. They got him ranked at third, and I think that's atrocious.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's so much funny stuff about that. I think one more year of doing this, and I mean, you're going to watch the Pro Bowl game, and it's going to be the Bucs against whoever. I mean, against the AFC. There's so many crazy good players on this team. I've never seen anything like it. I've genuinely never seen anything like it.
The closest I could think of is
Jeremiah, you don't have to pay to call in. But I'm willing to. But if you need my PayPal, I'm willing to. I'm willing to send it if you're willing to pay. But Jeremiah.
I can think of is the old Dallas Cowboys and the old Steelers teams that put so many Pro Bowlers and Hall of Famers in there, But that's not even this team. This team is like, it's special, dude. It is special.
Yeah, and unselfish, like to a crazy degree. Like it's weird how crazy they are. I mean,
right.
I don't understand it. I mean,
there's going to be a lot of paydays if there's a second Super Bowl. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we'll see how well Jason keeps something together there.
Right.
After this year.
Well, the fact that they kept it together even for this year is insane.
It hasn't been done since
the
cap.
So I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It makes no sense that that I don't know. They're crazy good. But I don't know.
I was kind of curious.
Yes, Jeremiah, if you want to call in, just sign over your stimulus check, send it to me, and we're good. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, Mike. Mike, that's a great idea. No, Jeremiah, you don't have to. You don't have to. Somebody try and call in. You don't have to video chat, Jeremiah. You know what? Somebody.
Just use the number, dude.
Yeah, just use the phone number, Jeremiah. Just use the phone number that you see on the screen. Just call 678-825-5263. 678-TALK, the number 2, me. 678-825-5263. It's $100 per minute, and I'll keep you on the phone as long as I possibly can. The more you talk to me, one layer of clothes comes off every once in a while just to keep you coming. So
Rick's trying to save up for those season tickets, man.
That's right. I want season tickets.
$100 a minute. I think you're looking for Super Bowl tickets now.
Yeah, no joke. No joke. Hey, whatever it takes, right? But yeah, I mean, I want to hear that, because to me, the Derwin James thing, it's like going back years and years and trying to double back, and you were really, they took Vita Vea over Derwin James, and Derwin James has not been as productive as Vita Vea has. Now, you can't say, well, Derwin James always gets hurt because Vea got hurt. So, right. to Jeremiah's opinion. Oh wait, okay, hold on, Jeremiah, you're gutsy for putting that down there, my friend. Who knows what kind of phone calls you're going to get right now? But I'm going to go ahead and call you. All right, Jeremiah, hold on, Johnny. I'm going to run so I can speak with Jeremiah.
All right, bud. Later.
All right, bye. All right, I am calling Jeremiah right now. Hey, Jeremiah.
Hey, Rick. How's it going?
Good. Jeremiah, is it Hafner?
It's Hafner. Yes, it is.
Okay, Hafner. There's no T in it. Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Yeah, now I guess I appreciate you being part of the parrot army here, part of the pandemonium. Why are we still talking about Derwin James?
Well, because I feel he did it right from playing. They could have had him, and he would have been all right without getting injured.
Well, if
I feel Vea,
yeah,
is a broken down thing already.
But Derwin James has been injured a lot.
No, not a lot. He's only been injured twice.
Well, and Vea's only been injured once.
No, Vea's been injured about 4 times.
No, he hasn't even been in the league that long.
I'm talking about college, kid.
Okay, you're talking college also? Okay. Okay. I to be honest with you, I don't know about his injuries in college to have an opinion, but I don't know. He just, to me, first of all, it's like revisiting. Look, you can always go back 3-4 years and say, okay, they should have made this pick or they should have made that pick. Every team in the league passed up on Tom Brady, 6 times, basically.
Right, but I'm not a Tom Brady fan either.
No, but I'm saying it's easy to it's easy to go back and look back and see, but this is not a clear-cut difference. You've got a guy who's a huge part of this defense. It's not like he's been a failure. So,
no, we just need somebody in the backfield.
Well,
I feel.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I do understand where you're coming from, but I think I'm pretty happy with the backfield now. I think it's a pretty darn good backfield. Jeremiah, thank you for calling. Now you have the number. Save the number I just gave you. It's different than the one on the screen, but save that number. You can reach me whenever I'm on.
Right, but how do I video chat?
You video chat the link that I sent you.
Okay.
Or the link that was in chat. I'll put it back in there one more time, and next time every time I look in the chat, you see like I just put it in there now. There's a StreamYard.
So is everybody can hear us, or is it just us?
No, everybody can hear us. You're on right now.
Oh, wow. Hey, everybody. Keyback.
How about that?
Colson.
Yep.
How about all them?
Yeah, they're all hearing you right now.
Dean, the professor.
Yep, everybody's hearing you, my friend. Well, thank you for coming on, Jeremiah.
How come Peter ain't on no more?
What's that?
Harry, how come Peter ain't on?
Oh, Harry was on a little bit ago.
Peter H.
Oh,
Blake?
Peter? Well, you ask Peter. You'll have to speak with him
How about Blake?
that. You'll have
seen
to
him either.
speak with them, my friend. You'll have to speak with them. Have a good night, Jeremiah. All right. So I don't understand thinking about at this point going back to the Derwin James thing. It's just we can't keep revisiting. Look, even if you had Derwin James, then you've got a hole in the middle of your defensive line. Okay, how does that get filled? There's all kinds of things. There's a cascade effect. If you change one thing, so many different things change. It's important. It's very, very important that you look at the overall picture and understand that this is not that Vita Vea is non-negotiable. He's critical to this defense. Derwin James would not be critical to this offense. So it to me it's just a non-question. I understand where you're coming from. I don't see it the same way. But I understand where you're coming from, Jeremiah, and I appreciate the fact that you took the time to call in, and please do it again. But I just don't see it that way. But what are you going to do? That's why we're here, isn't it? So anyway, guys, the draft to me, though, when I look at Jason Light and I watch Jason Light's performance over the years, and I watch how Jason Light becomes better and better and better as a general manager, and you look at it and you have to ask yourself, why is he better now, or why was he worse then? And there's a big difference there, and you have to be honest to yourself. You have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself the question: why is Jason Light better now, or why was he worse then? What's the difference? And the difference is, this is his coach. He's the guy who brought in Bruce Arians. He didn't want Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith, I believe, was even hired before him. He got stuck with Lovie Smith and Jeff Tedford and that disaster. And if those of you who don't know about Jeff Tedford, sometime I'll go into that story. Maybe I'll do that Friday. Matter of fact, I will. I'll go into the Jeff Tedford story on Friday because it had a major impact, a very major impact on this team. So I don't know. It's important to understand what happened and why this team, what happened with Lovie Smith. And when you know the whole history of it, you don't just look at Lovie Smith and just automatically lump it all together and just say, yeah, he was bad. Okay. To understand how he ended up in the position he ended up in and how bad it was and the decisions he made and how they impacted the team for years. And then Dirk. Dirk was kept around for the simple reason that you didn't want to change. You basically wanted to keep Jameis working under the same system. So you kept Dirk. Dirk became the offensive coordinator under Lovie Smith. Not that it was Lovie's first choice. Lovie Smith got stuck with Dirk. Dirk ended up becoming the head coach. And just so there would be continuity with Jameis. And things turned bad. And that's what ended up happening. Hold on, we've got someone calling in. Let's find out who that is. Hey, this is you are on the Bucs Report Show. Who am I speaking with?
This is Rick, right?
Hey, how you doing?
This is Jeremiah.
Hey,
What do you think about Quinn Myers?
What do I think about him? I think if there's a shot we can get him, that'd be awesome. I don't expect to get him.
Do you think it'd be a first round pick?
I don't think we're even going to have a chance to get him.
Oh, you think he's already out of that range?
Yeah, but I may be wrong. I am not an expert in this. I don't want to tell you wrong, but I don't believe he'll be around. What do you guys in the chat room think? I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you guys think about that. So, all right. Thanks for calling back, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to be our first round draft pick.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
We will see.
We need him more than Jay.
No, stop it with Vea, man. Vea's a great player. Stop it. You're crazy about that. Stop it. Vita Vea is a great player. Thanks for calling in, Jeremiah.
I'm just playing.
I know. Thanks a lot for calling in. All right. So, I mean, to me, guys, we just can't do that. We can't, when you look back and you see the history of what happened and how Dirk ended up being who he was, how Dirk ended up in the position he was in, when you see how all of that went down, you start to understand and look at why things were not so good for Jason Light in the first years. And it was not his doing. It was not his choice. And when they finally gave him the reins and said, okay, fine, you do it your way, you're looking at a Super Bowl, guys. We're throwing the Lombardi between boats. Jason Light standing there with BA on a boat, drinking the Bud Lights. That's what happens. That's what you get. And this is why general managers need to be who they are. And that's very, very important. I mean, it's Bruce Arians. When Jason Light, it saved his job, by the way. If you remember, everybody was calling. I want you guys to all flashback. And I don't want you to answer. I want you to ask yourself honestly. Ask yourself honestly. What were you saying about Jason Light before Bruce Arians came here? Were you saying, let him go, it's time to fire him? Because by far, most of the crowd was saying, let's fire him. It wasn't close. There were a few people, Johnny Dean, me, there were a couple of us. And listen, I get a lot of stuff wrong. This one I got right. I get a lot of stuff wrong. Okay. I don't know. I mean, to me, when you bring in somebody like Jason Light, who's got the pedigree that he has and the history that he has, and you tie his hands behind his back, and then there's a lack of success, what do you expect? And that's what happened with this team. What do you expect? It's going to be that way when you do that to a general manager. A general manager needs to have the ability to manage, to run the team, to bring in the players and put the whole thing together. That's their job. They have an overarching vision that involves the coach and the players. You know, they're the ones who generally do the drafting. They have an overarching vision for the organization and how you're going to get from where you are to the Lombardi Trophy. And during the first years of Jason Light's career, they did not let him execute his plan to get to the Lombardi Trophy. I'm going to say that again. During the first years of Jason Light's career, they did not let him execute his plan to get to the Lombardi Trophy. He was just about fired. The seat could not get hotter. And he made a phone call, and Bruce Arians came out of retirement. Saved Jason Light's job. And now Jason Light has his coach, and they can put the team together their way. They can get rid of the people they probably didn't want in the first place. Vernon Hargreaves, Noah Spence. They can get rid of those guys and put the team together according to the vision that he has. And what happens? We're throwing trophies from boat to boat. Jason Light is so important to this franchise. The fact that the Buccaneers were patient enough, which this organization is many wonderful things, but one thing they are not is patient. They were patient with Jason Light, and you've got a Lombardi because of it. When you go from coach to coach to coach to coach, every 2 years you're changing coaches. Every 2 years you're trying to redo the whole system, switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4. You're switching everything around. You got players that are all wrong for the system you're in because, well, they were drafted for a different system. And then everybody's saying, "Oh, you suck. You know, your general manager sucks because look, those guys aren't performing well." Well, of course they're not. Of course they're not. They can't perform well in a system that wasn't designed for them. That's why when you see a new guy come in, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but you always hear, "Oh, they got a new coach. He's going to want to bring in his own guy, his own quarterback." It's not for no reason. It's not. They're not bringing in their own guy for no reason. They're bringing in a guy that's going to fit their system, their vision, what they're trying to execute, their long-term goals, how they see the team becoming successful. That's what's important. And that, my friends, that, Parrot Army, that is why Jason Light should not be the number 3 general manager. He should be probably, I don't understand how anybody could be named a better general manager. I'm going to say this. He brought in Tom Brady. He got Bruce Arians. He got Tom Brady. He got all 22 of these guys back. This is all Jason Light. If I had my choice, the next guy in the Ring of Honor is still the general manager. That guy deserves to be in the Ring of Honor. That guy is everything. Let me tell you something. I absolutely, I like that guy. As far as the number goes, I've disconnected the phone for a moment, guys. Sorry. If you want to come in, you're going to have to do it by StreamYard. Sorry about that. There you go. I'll put it back up there. But yeah, to me, guys, wake up and start loving this guy because he is absolutely critical to this franchise. Steven Glasker.
Hey,
how you doing?
Hey, I'm great. You were talking, and it reminded me of something I really want to discuss with you that I'm going to have a little bit of a disagreement about. I'm in total agreement with you about Jason Light. You can have someone who starts out, has a rough start, and turns out being fantastic. How he did not get Executive of the Year, I do not know. Like many other Bucs, he got snubbed because we definitely had more than one player who should have made the Pro Bowl. That was just a bunch of BS. I don't understand how that happened, but
they hadn't accomplished anything. Respect is earned, okay, and they hadn't earned anything yet. But by the time the year was over and they voted on Executive of the Year, something had been earned. So it makes no sense.
But you can have players who are on teams that suck that make the Pro Bowl. So that's about their play.
Not many.
About overall team earning. I mean, even Dallas had more Pro Bowlers than we did, and Dallas sucked last year.
No, but nobody sees the Buccaneers. No, these other players and everybody, all the other fans around the nation don't get to see the Bucs play because they've been so bad. Dallas is Dallas, man. They're a marketing machine. Of course, they're going to be on TV. People are going to see them. That's just that. Yeah, I mean that's how that's going to. Watch next year.
Oh yeah,
watch next year.
I've said before, the Bucs have become the center of the football universe, and it's largely because of Tom Brady. Everybody talks about how they hate him and how he's old and how he needs to leave the game. Lots of people, not everybody.
Right.
I watch and listen to a lot of sports shows. He's mentioned, I am not exaggerating, almost every day.
Right.
That is a decision that's made in production.
Yeah.
That tells you people want to hear about them.
And that's why the Bucs will be in the Pro Bowl next year.
There better be. We have a lot of players that should have been that didn't make it. It was a nasty snub. Should never have happened. But
Yeah, but you'll see it now. You'll see it now.
What I do disagree
What's that?
about was O.J. Howard. When you said O.J. Howard or Cam Brate, I would prefer to keep Cam Brate. I know he's older. I know O.J.'s younger. I know O.J.'s got more talent. But when you talk about value, Brate has more value.
I understand the thinking. I do understand the thinking. I understand why somebody would say keep Brate, Howard, and I understand the problems that Howard has had. And if they traded Howard and kept Brate, you're not going to see me complain at all. Okay, I'm okay, but they can't keep both. They need to get rid of one or the other. And right now, I just think this team with O.J. Howard is, you're taking a small step back, but not a huge step, and it's possible, by the way, with his potential that it could be taking a step forward. So but it's probably going to take a small step back. All right. Now, what do you gain with $6.5 million in cap space? Who do you sign? What do you get on your team with $6.5 million in cap space? Does it make up for the gap between Brait and Howard? Now you've got $6.5 million to sign somebody, a lineman, whatever.
Absolutely.
To me, oof.
But me, I would, if I was GM for a day, I would trade Howard and Rojo because you can get a lot more bang for your buck.
No, I'm all about that. I'm all about it. If you could trade if they could trade the number 32 pick plus Rojo plus Cam Brait or OJ Howard, I'm sorry, either one, and move way up in the draft, move up, to the 20 pick, I'm good. You've just created a ton of cap space. You're going to be able to fill it in. Players are going to want to come here. You're going to be able to get AB back. You're going to be able to get other players back and fit more pieces. You're going to have cap space left over.
Yep, I agree with that. I like that. I would love to hear Giants thoughts on it. I was thinking more along the lines of trading OJ and Rojo and just picking up draft picks for next year because, like you said, this year's draft is not that great. And then the cap space issues because of 2020 and all the the pandemic and all that crap really hurt. But next year and the years moving forward, you can get some really good draft picks for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Build for the future. I'm fine with that. So yeah, that's awesome. I got no problem with that thinking at all. So I don't know that we're in disagreement. It's just given my all I'm doing is weighing it out and saying, I think the potential of OJ Howard versus what you've got left in the tank for Brait. I do think it's a step back to go to Howard, but it's potentially a step forward, and the step back is more than compensated for by whoever you can bring in with that $6.5 million. So anyway,
I understand that thinking. Except for me, I remember a very successful friend of mine told me years ago, Steve, potential is a fancy French word for he ain't done crap yet.
Yeah. No, you are correct about that. You are correct. Potential is the word they use for that's what we think you can do. It doesn't mean you can do it. It just means we think you can do it. Yeah. Exactly. Possible. Maybe you can do it. So yeah. Yeah, good call.
By the way, you did a great job, with Jacob Ewing. Oh, man, that was fire. I enjoyed that very much.
Oh, yeah, it was a good segment, wasn't it?
Yeah. I actually put in the comments because I saw you both wearing black. I said, oh, is it Black Knight? Well, I guess I win.
You are the winner, my friend. You are the winner. Awesome. That was awesome. Saturday night, you'll pay for that comment. On Saturday night show, you'll pay for that comment.
You know it.
All right, brother. Thank you, my friend. Yep, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was awesome. That was Stephen Glasker. He's one of the folks you will see a lot of on What's Cooking in the South and live from the cheap seats. And hopefully we will see him around here even more. We got one more coming in. Matt Colson. Hey, brother.
Hey. I was listening to you.
Yep.
About half paying attention.
Yep.
You said something about Jason Light being put in the Ring of Honor now.
Yep. I'm all for it. I would love it.
No, you can't. Do we put active players in the ring?
No, I know you can't literally. My point was it wasn't literal. It was meant more as that's how much.
I think he's earned his strike, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I'm just. It was meant. That was hyperbole. It was basically me saying he's that good. Just stick him in the ring now. That's basically all I was saying. It's no, I don't literally mean you can put him in the ring now. No, you can't. I understand you can't. I get that.
I just wanted to clarify that. I'm half asleep and had a long day today. So I was just wanting to make sure I heard what you said.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean it literally.
On what you were talking about with Brady?
Yeah.
What's wrong with us having an Anthony Munoz kind of player that comes in from the draft and stays with us till he retires, and then we hang him up on the, hang him up and put him in in the Hall of Fame or whatever for us in the way that Cameron Braid has. The guy came in here. He's been trade bait every single year that he's been here. And all he does is say, okay,
Well,
Bud, puts on his uniform and goes out and does his job.
What's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. Okay? There's nothing wrong with it. Here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having that guy. Okay? It's nice. That's all the feels. It's nice and warm and fuzzy to think about that. It's got a nice vibe to it and all of that. Or we can do what's going to help us win more.
How do you win more than the Super Bowl?
You win more Super Bowls. That's easy.
Well,
you win more Super Bowls. I can answer that question. We won one Super Bowl. That was last year. I want to win this year.
We got the same 20 some odd players.
Yeah, but
this year.
Yeah, let's bring back AB. Let's do some things, move around in the draft, get ready for the future. Yeah, I'm all about that. Listen, you don't stop growing, and this is very, very important. You don't just stop your team and say, let's just sit where we are and do nothing to get better. And thankfully, this organization doesn't have that attitude. That's why they brought in Giovanni Bernard. They didn't sit there and just say, yeah, let's just stick where we are. We got to get better, because I'm promising you that other teams are watching our film, seeing what we're doing, and catching up. And
I agree with that. But
yeah, so you have to be able to counteract it. Now, I get the feelings. It's like everybody who likes Rojo. Okay, I get it. You like Rojo. Who doesn't like a guy named Rojo? Okay? But I get the thinking. What's wrong with having a guy that stays his whole career? He's put in his time. The guy's tried hard. He's put in his effort. It's the same thinking to me of, let's give Gerald McCoy a ring. Okay?
No,
I mean,
not.
well,
that's not right.
No, my point. What I'm trying to say is, it's thinking with your emotions versus what's actually best for the team. And saying, what's wrong with keeping a guy around? Of course, there's nothing wrong with having an Anthony Munoz and blah, blah, blah. But that was a long time ago. The league's changed. Okay? Free agency wasn't what it is now. It's a whole different league now. And the Patriots put 20 good years together because they were willing to cut ties a year or two before someone's career ended.
Well, that's true, but I still have a little bit of the old school in me. I think that somebody like a Bray who he's not flashy, he's not on the news, you don't hear about it with the clubs getting in fights or anything like that. He's just a guy who comes to work every day, the blue collar Joe.
No, I understand. He's likable. Everything about a blue collar. Wait, hold on. Blue collar Joe. He went to Harvard.
Well, I understand.
Let's simmer down, Sparky.
The guy doesn't showboat. And if he did get cut, if we did trade him to Carolina, I guarantee you he would not be going around going, I'm home. And
right. That's correct. No, that's correct. But understand this. I'm not saying I don't like Cam Brate. And let me be clear about it. I get the warm, fuzzy feeling of having him here until the end of his career. I get it. I understand it. I do. And sometimes when you cut a player, it comes back to bite you. Ask New England. Okay? I get it. Sometimes when you let a player go too early, it comes back to bite you. But it sure worked pretty good for them for a long, long time. I understand the thinking. I understand the thinking of saying, look, I'm tired of OJ Howard, but I also don't think it's crazy to say the team will take a step backwards just a little bit at that position, but you now have $6.5 million to spend on somebody else where you can take a big leap forward at a different position.
Couldn't we do the same thing by trading Rojo and just straight out getting rid of him?
Well, I'm thinking both. But you got to have somebody to replace Rojo.
You do. You got Giovanni, whatever his name
is. He's replacing McCoy, LaShawn McCoy.
Okay, you're right.
So there's a roster spot there. And you got to be thinking, okay, you had this much, you had you had the depth, you had these guys. Yeah. Giovanni Bernard, so I don't know. I mean, I think the only way you get rid of Rojo is if you draft a running back that you believe can see the field.
You can get a good running back in the third round. I mean, they've proven that.
That's correct.
Over and over again.
That's correct.
So,
but just because you get him in the third round doesn't mean he's going to be a good running back. Remember, Rojo was a second round pick. So,
and then he sat out the next year.
That's correct. That's correct. So let's see what happens.
They redshirted the guy, and he still didn't.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's an easy league, you know. Those are big boys on the other side, and he almost rushed for 1,000 yards. Let's not downplay him. I mean, The guy did rush for almost 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah, we've gone over that before.
Yeah.
All right.
I understand. Thanks, man.
I just wanted the clarification on the Ring of Honor thing. Let him run his course, and then we'll stick him up there on a Saturday afternoon or something.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree. It was more meant as hyperbole. I don't literally mean put Jason in the Ring of Honor now. I mean it. When the time comes, that dude deserves it. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you. All right, Rick. Good show tonight. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much going to do it for the night. We had a great night. I think this was a good show. I think we covered a whole lot of ground. A lot of really great Bucs info. We got into the draft a little bit, and there's a whole lot more of that coming. You can be sure of that. We got a lot more coming. I appreciate you guys being here. As always, you all rock, the Parrot Army. You guys are awesome. Don't forget to check out the Parrot Army gear. It's awesome. I've got some coming tomorrow. What you want to do is go to bucksreportgear.shop. bucksreportgear.shop. And you can see all kinds of great Bucs Report gear for this show and for all the other shows that you see here on Bucs Report. I want to thank you guys for being here. Every freaking one of you is awesome. I appreciate y'all more than you guys know. And I look forward to seeing you the next time I will be on. I'll probably pop on as a guest here or there. But tomorrow night, I will not be on What's Cooking in the South. We have a special guest host. Joshua Cole Allen is going to be the guest host tomorrow night on What's Cooking in the South. And that's probably good because I'm losing my voice. I don't know if you can hear that. But Joshua Cole Allen's going to host What's Cooking in the South. And we'll be back Friday night right here with the Bucs Report show and with an upgraded studio. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing that on Friday. You guys will see what I'm talking about. And then on Saturday, it's What's Cooking in the South. Sunday, live from the cheap seats. And then next week comes the draft party. I'm going to Tampa. I'll be flying down to Tampa for the draft party. I'm looking forward to that. More news, more details. All of that is coming. Please, if you guys are in Tampa, be there. Be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate all the shares, all the likes, all the comments. That's important, man. You guys, you raised the bar tonight. Thank you for the comments. So important. Thanks for coming in when it was your turn. I appreciate it. Jeremiah, it was great having you on for the first time. Johnny, as always. Steven, as always. Matt, as always. Mike, as always. Ben, all of you guys, as always. You guys, you bring it every freaking time, and it's appreciated more than you know. Christopher Cole, love you, brother. Thank you. All the best to you guys, and I will see you on Friday night, where we'll all be back having a good time right back here on Bucs Report. Thanks for being here. Have a great night. Go Bucs.